Welcome to Fun is Fundamental. Fun is Fundamental is a podcast for those who realize that the enjoyment of life is about having something deep in our souls which lights our fire. It's for those who maybe have lost that fire and feel like they are missing out on the pleasures of life. In each episode, I will share recent fun activities and focus on why having fun is essential for good health. I'm your host, Elenia, and I invite you to take this journey with me and join the pleasure-seeking movement. Hello, I just wanted to check in again because this was another episode that was recorded several months ago, last summer, and I think I kept it back because I feel like I just edited it the other day, but yeah, I'm like trying to remember. I felt like I wanted the contrast between the Rage Room and this, because the Rage Room, is very explosive and action driven, and this is a lot more slow, meditative, deliberate. Although, I'm sure being more deliberate with your actions could benefit you if you're in a Rage Room too. But it's very different. I have a new episode that's actually like newly recorded for next episode, and I actually if you listen, you may be able to figure out what the next episode might be about. All right, talk to you later. Bye. Hello. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about archery. We went to archery a couple weeks ago, and we did recurve archery nearby. So I guess I'll first just talk about the general what we did. We got a little lesson of how to set up the shot. It was a very short lesson, so he said like a lot at once, and I wasn't really sure what he said, so that it was like we were trying to set it up, like do it ourselves, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, and so like I kind of like set it up sort of, and then just like stood there and waited until he helped my friend, and then came over and was like, oh, you need to do this, and I was like, okay. Anyway, at first I was definitely having difficulty with my stance and position, but the more that I did it, the more I was able to make the shots in the target area. We first just like did it a bunch from like a shorter distance, and then we went like a little farther, and we played 21, and we also hit balloons. When we did 21, and the whole experience was an hour. So anyway, when we did 21, it was definitely by far the worst of us all. In fact, like I had one, so like each of the areas on the bullseye, counted for points. And then if you didn't make it on the paper, it was like -5. So like I already wasn't going to be good, but then it was like I got like a -5, and it was like, oh, it's just not good. And because it was just like I was so like erratic with where my arrows were landing. Yeah, and I remember like one point when I didn't even hit like like it completely like didn't even like land in the wall, in the cushion wall, and I was like, I don't like yeah, I was like, it was just like really embarrassing to be like so terrible. But so I guess okay, I'm just gonna finish talking about the experience and then like go into everything. So then we were doing the balloons at the end, and like that was at least twice. And the first time, like I didn't get any of them, and then the last round I did, and so I guess that's where I will start talking about what all kind of was happening in my head. And that's the thing, like Casey was naturally like really good at it. And I think it's because he's like patient and calm, and he's a really organized person. And I am chaotic and messy and I just rushed through things, and these personality traits made it so that he was good. Like he did everything quite well, and he's a total beginner, whereas I was all over the place. I don't think things through a lot when it comes to especially doing things physical. I am very unsportsman like. What am I trying to say? I'm very uncoordinated. I am not deliberate with my movements. I kind of feel like I flail around in the world, and I don't feel grounded and centered. So that's the thing. When I only was successful at the end when I did slow down and break down the movements. Like, I know there's like this book called The Zen and the Art of Archery, which I'm going to be honest, I didn't read it. It's really short. I should have read it. I didn't. But I had to like get this episode out because it had already been like a couple of weeks since we did the archery. So it's just like, all right, I haven't read it. We're doing this. Okay. But anyway, the idea of Zen is that it's the ritualized acts of discipline and beauty. And archery definitely takes a lot of discipline. It's a very small range of movement, and just a small range can make a huge difference. So, I mean, I already had respect for archers, but now it's like, after doing it, I have like more respect. It's like, yeah, that's not easy. Obviously, if it was easy, everyone could be an archer, right? I mean, that's the thing. Archery is an exercise in mindfulness. It only works when you are in the moment and connected to your body, and you're in like the bow and arrow kind of being an extension of your body. So that's the thing. If you are not present in the moment, you're not going to accomplish your goal. I mean, I guess generally this is probably true of all sports. I mean, no athlete becomes a world class athlete, professional athlete, if they're stuck in their mind all the time. You have to be able to just get into this. They talk about active meditation, and like the idea of that is to focus into your body as opposed to your mind. So, I mean, that's the thing. When I first started, I was very much in my mind. I was judging myself for everything, and like I went into it just being like, I'm going to be bad at this kind of thing because I'm bad at everything that's physical. any sport. So like right from the start, I was like complete naysayer. I'm going to be bad at it. And so I just got so caught up in my neuroses. Obviously as a complete beginner, there's no reason why I should be good at archery. I know this logically. And, I am definitely a person, just like many other people, who's uncomfortable with my imperfections. And so, in a way, I have developed a way of acting like I don't care in order to hide the fact that I care a lot. I am constantly judging myself, but I want others to think that I don't. I have embraced my hot messness as a personality trait. So only once I stopped focusing on judging myself at every turn, every time I pulled back, and being like almost purposefully like being like, I'm bad at this. and let go of the arrow, and just like kind of like letting myself be a hot mess. Only when I just was like focused on what my body was actually doing did I pop those balloons. And once I like made up my mind that I was gonna pop those balloons, I was not gonna walk out of there without having popped those balloons. I popped all those goddamn balloons, you know. Anyway, I know it's a little all over the place because I have embraced my hot messness. Back to active meditation. So there's actually research that indicates that active meditation, it has a greater impact on mood and the parasympathetic nerve system than silent meditation. So, I think that there's still like, how do you define active meditation sometimes? Obviously, in that exact study, like a study that I read, they did not have people doing archery as active meditation. They had like, focused, like intent, like focusing on an intention or doing timing breath kind of things and stuff like that. And I have heard of like walking meditation as being active meditation too. But being mindful of my movements was the only way that I could do this. And that is, I would say, active meditation. I mean, these days there's a lot of talk about mindfulness. And I think archery is a test in my mindfulness. I spend a lot of my life stuck inside my mental chatter, the ego, with like only just short bursts of mindfulness. I talked about this a little bit in my episode about nature. I think that's one of the things that I appreciate about nature the most, is that it gives me prolonged moments of peace, not just these tiny little bursts surrounded by these long periods of just blah, 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 blah in my brain. But yeah, archery managed to do this for me at the very end. I just didn't go into this being like in the right mindset, I guess, to do it. So anyway, according to the American Psychological Association, mindfulness is theorized to help with self-control, concentration, mental clarity, and emotional intelligence, among other things. I definitely need more. Sometimes I need help with self-control. I am often an overeater. I overindulge in things, and I don't exercise like I should. So probably I should be doing more mindfulness for that. I definitely have trouble with concentration and mental clarity sometimes. I often feel like I'm very ADD, ADHD. I don't know. I feel like more ADD, but I don't know. There's like things that I hear about ADHD that I'm like, oh, that sounds like me. And then other things I'm like, that doesn't quite sound like me. So I don't know. Sometimes I just blame my smartphone for my inability to concentrate on things. Like, I used to be like this avid reader. I used to love reading so much. And now I can barely get through a book, like a short book. I read like lots of little things, but like sometimes it's hard for me to even get through like a 5-minute article. I'm just like, da-da-da, oh, look at this shiny thing, right? I think part of that is probably the problem with reading a lot on my smartphone, maybe. But anyway, that's just probably not that. It's just off topic a little bit. Just a little bit. All right. This is fun. It's fundamental. So, was archery fun? Yes and no. Did I enjoy every moment of it? No. Is that because of archery itself? No. That was all because of me and my inability to just let go and be an experience. Am I glad I did it? Hell yeah. Would I do again? Definitely. I feel like that is really kind of the point of this podcast, to put myself in different unfamiliar situations that may be a little uncomfortable. I avoid a lot of things that I think I will be bad at, especially if others will see me be bad at it. And logically, I know and understand that the only way to learn and grow is to do new things and challenge yourself. But it isn't always comfortable. And, I know discomfort is necessary for growth. But does that mean I want to live my life in discomfort? No, of course not. I'm just like everyone else. Like most of us just want to feel comfortable, but it's not necessarily good for us, you know. I guess I hope that if you are also a perfectionist and you are, trying to stay in a safety zone, that you do something that challenges you. So, you may not enjoy it necessarily, but I don't think you'll regret it. I don't regret doing the things that I do that put me out of my comfort zone. I just, you know, feel uncomfortable when I'm doing it sometimes. You know, we, we as a society, I think, do a lot to put on, this idea of like being a certain way, and then like we don't want others to see us fail. But if you don't try, then where are you going to go with your life, right? So I hope that you do something outside of your comfort zone. And, once again, if you want to connect with me, you can find me at Fun is Fundamental on Instagram and Facebook. And then you can email me at funisfundamentalpodcast@gmail.com. And I'm always welcome and open to suggestions for future episodes. And I also, if you are inspired to do things outside of your comfort zone, I would like to hear about it also. So anyway, have a good week, do something fun, and stay safe and happy. Bye.